Hey guys, Chuck from the WGC.
And Hugo from Ichiban Studio.
And we are here today with another community show. It's not live, but I figured, hey, we have Ichiban here, and we could come up with a really good topic, which we did, because we are both really from the scale model world.
So we're going to talk about sex today.
Yeah, okay, that too.
Okay.
So anyways, the biggest thing I think with us is that we come from a scale model world, and we see all these techniques that are coming into the wargaming world, which everyone's raving about because they're like, oh, look at this new technique, but it really isn't new, right?
Yeah, there's some... But even though, when you think about it, back a long time ago in the miniature world, you know, when dry brushing started to come out, dry brushing was something that scale modelers have been using for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see it even more with especially the weathering techniques and the layering techniques, the washes, working with enamels. There's so many things that are jumping in the miniature modeling world compared to the scale modeling world. So it's a little bit amazing.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I always do is like tell people, hey, you want to learn how to weather, you want to learn some really cool techniques, check out the scale modeling people.
Yeah.
Because they could teach you lots and lots, and they have lots of tutorials on this stuff because they've been doing this before. Before the bigger wargaming channels came.
Yeah.
I mean, Les, when he was doing his stuff, he's learning a lot from the scale modelers and stuff like that. And I had a scale model channel before the wargaming channel. I think when I met you, I was all excited. I'm like, yes, another scale modeler, So it's really easy to talk to them about techniques and stuff that, most of everyone in wargaming world still either don't understand or don't pay attention to because
they don't use them.
Yeah, yet until it's like, oh, look at what this guy did. I could do it too, and then they show you the technique. They're like, oh wow, something new, blah blah blah.
And it's super easy at the same time.
Yeah, it is.
Because the scale modeling guys are fucking crazy.
Oh, they're freaking nuts. They go crazy, and everything about scale modeling is getting as realistic as you can and as accurate as you can. Otherwise, they'll get the haters like we do. Except instead of saying, oh, that bolt gun is not bolt gun metal, they're saying, hey, you got one too many rivets on that pattern.
Yeah, you forgot 2 rivets on that pattern. That tank in that colors didn't have that. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
I lost contests because of that shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When I was younger and I was doing the contest circuit, and then the guys were like nuts, especially the judges. Like, I don't know, it didn't have that handle on that side. Like, what? It came with the kit. Yeah, but you didn't do your research right. It was like, oh my god.
Now, I think one of the things that I did on the video that introduced a lot of people is pre-shading and post-shading.
Yeah.
That's like old school stuff on scale modeling. But when I brought it over and did on Rhino, people were like, wow, that looks so cool, What did you bring? I mean, what do you bring over that you always, used in the scale modeling?
But you saw me doing the demo at Gen Con. I always pre-shade and post-shade.
Yeah.
That I almost always do it, even if it's not going to show up too much.
Yeah.
All the weathering techniques, the chipping, but now it's made up easier with with AK Interactive, with the products that they came up.
Yeah.
But before it was the air spray techniques and the salt techniques and things like that. It's mostly in the weathering, or also how to prepare your metals and things like that. The washes, protecting steps. A lot of people in the wargaming industry, I think they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of competition painter, they don't varnish their model at all.
Well, it's a little weird because you transport that stuff to the competition, it's gonna chip.
Yeah, I know, but not just that. It's like, how can you do a model without making a mistake? They go back on their mistakes all the time and rework areas when they make a mistake. I know there's a bunch of guys that are amazing, but let's be honest, man, nobody makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
It's fucking impossible.
Yeah, you're talking about layering it like between steps and stuff. I mean, I do that I must go through at least 5 or 6 layers of clear coat when I'm working on one model. Yeah, same thing for step and stuff like that. And it protects it protects the layer underneath.
Yeah, that's what we do. You do your base coating. When you're happy with your base coat, you protect it. So that way when you go do the rest of the detailing, then if you make a mistake, you can go with a little bit of white spirit and erase because the acrylic's going to come off really easily. But if you don't protect your stuff, you're going to have to be really fast to take a clean brush with water on it to try to push the acrylic out. And then if you're working with metallics, you're fucked because you're going to have speckles everywhere. So
yeah, now we're talking mostly about the competition painting, probably part of it all, because if you're doing it to put it on the table to play, I guess it's like.
But it depends on if you're like Michelle, You know.
Well, finish the sentence. If you're like Michelle.
Sorry, it's because it's 9 o'clock in the morning with a goose island. No, if you're like Michelle, a super perfectionist person.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's tabletop, doesn't matter. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Because her fucking tabletop won her 2 crystal brush. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. I think. A lot of questions I get, it goes, well, do you use VAT? Do you use matte? Do you use gloss, or do you use semi-gloss?
It always depends on what's the technique.
Yeah, it depends on what you do, right? I mean, mainly, if it's gloss, I use gloss usually on washing stuff, or I know that I might have to go back and wipe it off easier.
Yeah.
Because I might make mistakes. I use matte when I'm doing weathering over it.
Yeah.
That's what I always like to use. Because matte, the pigments stick better than the matte surface.
Yeah. Need to have a bumpy surface so the pigments go grab on it, but at the same time it's
harder to clean off though if it's matte though.
Yeah, or you don't do a matte clear coat and then try to put some washes on there because you won't be able to clean it after.
Yeah, that's dumb. So
plus the gloss also protects better.
Yeah.
If you have a matte varnish, sometimes you would try to use white spirit on it, and the matte coat is not as thick as a gloss varnish coat normally.
Yeah, it'll soak it in.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what you're doing. Most of the time, usually in weathering, you use the matte. It's weathering anyway.
Yeah.
If you mess up, you just kind of brush it off. And
hey,
that actually is perfect.
A little bit more mud.
Yeah, just one little tad more mud and stuff. Now, weathering. Let's talk about weathering and scale modeling because we do it to make mud on tanks, wearing marks and
rust, salt
air
marks
and stuff like that on planes and
and
stuff like that. Now, what is there a difference that you've noticed between the techniques between doing it in scale modeling or doing it in wargaming?
One of the biggest things that I notice is that a lot of times when in the miniature modeling, guys do chipping with like silver.
Yeah, that's kind of a no-no in scale modeling.
Yeah, in scale modeling, you never do that because normally a tank is never silver.
Right.
Like underneath the paint coat, it's going to be a brownish color or something like that. So, when it's going to chip, if you even look at reference pictures, it's going to be like, a brownish color or even black underneath it, depending on what's the base color on the tank. But that, again, the guys in scale modeling are fucking crazy because they would have fucking books telling you when that tank came out of the factory, what was the base color, not the base color, but the kind of primer that was underneath it. So you know that when the chipping is going to start happening, what was the color that would actually be showing through. And then in the wargaming industry, it's all metallic chips and stuff,
which is kind of odd. But if you think about it, even let's say in the 40K world, they're doing tanks and stuff. Would the bottom be silver? I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so neither.
I mean, logically, I guess if you think realistic.
Plus, it's supposed to be what's the name of the thing? Ceramic something. It's like
adamantium or ceramite or something like that.
Ceramite or something like that. So when you think about it, with the name that it has, I don't think it's real metal.
Yeah,
but that's another.
White. It'd be more white than.
Yeah, but that's another fucking subject. A lot of people are saying, they don't rust. It shouldn't rust because it's not metal and shit. But at the same time, you read some books. If you read the Blackberry books, and some of those books, they actually talk about it that they're rusted and stuff. So it's kind of like.
Well, it's fantasy, so they actually go with whatever.
Everything is good, right?
Yeah. But I mean, if you wanted to make that look real. Silver might not be the way to go.
No, definitely not.
I mean, I see people chipping, the power armors with silver.
Yeah, they're chipping everything with silver.
I look at it, I'm like, well, if you want a real more, that really grimy, realistic, look that you're seeing people winning competition with, less silver and more like.
If it's a bullet hole, that's a different story.
Because why is that? Go ahead, explain that.
Because if it's a bullet hole, the bullet will actually go in the metal. So it's the same thing if you had a real tank. You would the bullet hole will go in, and then it would go through the primer and everything, and then you would see probably that
silverish.
Yeah, that's silverish, but even though it's a very dark silverish because it's like cast steel and iron, so, but you would still have that little metallic sheen. But again,
well, that's a good subject to move on to is the realism of in fantasy. Noticing we're looking and we're seeing the competitions. We're seeing like a more realistic look rather than the cartoony.
Yeah. But it's funny because if you look at the competition scene, talking about Golden Demon and a little bit of Crystal Brush last year and things, the more models that you see that are the models that are coming out that are basically in the vehicle categories that are winning, they're really, really realistic, right?
Yeah.
But then when you look at what's happening in the single miniatures in those categories, the cartoony look is always, the what brings the trophy back home,
That's true.
It's funny. It's so funny how come the vehicle category is going towards so much realism, but then after that, when you turn around and you look at at the single miniature categories, and it's going totally in a different category, different direction.
I think it has to do more with effects with the single category. Like, we see like that torch thing on the wall and the shadow casting on it that we saw at Gen Con.
Crazy. Yeah.
That is freaking nuts, but it's that kind of technique that people go, wow.
But that was super realistic.
Yeah,
and it didn't win.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was not even in the top 4.
Well, that's a whole new topic that we'll talk about in the podcast.
Yeah, I know, but when I checked it, I was like, man, that because we're talking about specific piece, that OSL was like, it was real. It was not even textbook OSL. It was fucking real, right?
Yeah.
And then when I checked what won, I was like, wow, it's a little bit fucked up, because there was some really small miniature, and I don't know, they don't have that pop or anything. Or like my orc. My orc was really well done, but it was super realistic. There was no, like super shiny things. And
cartoony.
Yeah. And I think that's the weird stuff, is that when you're talking about the single miniature, the cartoony, non-metallic metal style is still on top. But when you're talking about vehicles, then you're going into the super realistic. That's what people are trying to do. And I think that's a big clash that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it could change sooner or later. But then again, everything's so subjective in competitions. It's always up to the judge. And that we'll cover in the podcast later. So, what else would you suggest for people to get into those techniques from scale modeling? I mean, other than finding on YouTube and blogs and stuff like that.
Try a scale model kit.
Yeah, that's one thing I always tell people to do. Actually, I told Andrew Face Mini.
Yeah.
When he went to
Games Day,
and he came back, and we were talking a lot more, because he was getting, he was asking me, what advice.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple, so he's like, well, what's it like and stuff. Oh, you know what, dude? I'll buy you a scale model kit. And I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to see what you can do with one, because you'll learn a lot from doing scale model kit. Not just get the kit, build it, and then just paint it, but research it a little bit. See if you could copy and replicate.
Take a picture. Buy a model, a modern or a World War II tank, then get a picture of that tank in the theater, in combat, and then try to replicate that picture. Don't take a picture of another scale model. Take a picture of an actual tank. In that theater, and then replicate it, like the mud, because of course you're never gonna see a fucking tank brand new rolling down the aisle. You couldn't, but
Yeah, it's always I mean, there's tons of World War II pics out there too.
Oh yeah.
You just search for it and find something that you like and try to replicate that whole scene. That's even better.
Yeah, do a little diorama.
Yeah, because it's those little nuances of learning the realism and try to copy it. That's going to bring it over to the OSL stuff.
Yeah.
Because OSL, you get. Unfortunately, I always make fun of OSL because people go overboard with it. It's like, look, I'm holding a sun, and everyone's all bright and it's all faded. They faded out the whole damn paint job. I'm like, what is that? What the hell is she holding? That's crazy. It's like, a $5,000 lamp. Lamp-powered lamp. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
It's like 1 million lumens.
Yeah, this go. So, you learn realism from it, and then you can bring it over to, scale model, especially if you do some kind of diorama or something like that.
Yeah.
With the OSL, with the
even
shadowing.
in the scale modeling, nobody uses OSL.
No. Scale modeling, there's no OSL, really.
They're going to buy a lens instead of just paint it. Yeah. They're going to buy a little lens to put it on their thing, but nobody...
Yeah, but they learn how to copy the realism, to understand certain nuances and stuff like that. Now, there's another thing that we haven't been seeing a lot yet that is old in the scale modeling. There's brass etching and stuff like that. Crazy. I mean, you could take a tank and get a kit for brass etching, and it just makes it so real. The detail just pops.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that. I mean, Forge World has some brass etching, but
it's just the symbol, the icons and stuff. When you're talking about, hey, in Japan, it's crazy when you go to a fucking modeling store how much you can find probably you buy a kit of a specific tank and you can find the whole tank again in brass edge.
It's crazy.
But they go for the tracks. You can buy extra tracks that are all in metal, that has better detailing and everything. And then after that, you're gonna have all the grills, the handles. Instead of having the little plastic handles to climb and shit, they have the brass edge handle, the railing, the plating. Sometimes depending on what kind of plate and armor those tanks. The barrels, of course, the barrels.
Yeah.
You know what? Pardon me.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah. So brass etching would like to see. It'd be nice to have a brass edge kit for a Rhino or a Land Rover or something.
Having a set barrel. The Rhino has like the hatch. Metal brass, or not necessarily brass, but the metal extra parts for the hatch and shit like that. That would make it so much better.
It's funny that
or the pipes in the back of it.
The pipes, the engine.
Little pipes, or a Land Raider. The back piece where it has the engine.
Yeah.
But of course, we all know that if that would happen, GW would try to ass fuck us like so bad.
Well, third party was fine. Third party.
Yeah, third party.
If they do that, I mean, that would just come out with some nice, freaking detailed like tanks.
Yep.
But I think we could take brass edge and do it. You've done it before.
What, do it ourselves?
No, take some brass edge from an old tank made for a tank from.
Oh yeah, you could do it. Yeah, but it would be nice to see some specific parts.
Yeah. Made
for the 40K universe or any Wargaming universe, just to bring that realism.
Or just like rivets. Bolters.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Or just rivets kits.
Yeah. Yeah, rivets kits. I noticed this too, is that the tanks in 40K don't really have rivets.
No.
Unless it's Imperial Guard.
Yeah, unless it's Imperial Guard. But that's another thing. A lot of guys that do, orc modification and stuff like that, scratch built orc, they don't. You see them. They cut plastic cards. The little plastic card run, and they make their own.
Yeah.
Hey, I must feel guilty because I did it on my base on my orc, but I didn't have time to go to the store because that's actually what I wanted to go. I wanted to go buy the real rivets.
Rivets and stuff.
Yeah, you could buy that in scale modeling. Rivets which has the rivet and the bolt if you want, in it, and it has the fucking tread on it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to know what half of this stuff means, because I know a lot of people out there don't, like brass etching, look it up. On YouTube, just do a search, and there's tons of videos that they show you do brass. Even my my Wildcat on the Wildcat I did on my no, not the Wildcat, the Corsair, I think. No, the Wildcat, yeah, that I did on my scale modeling channel. I used the brass edge for the cockpit. All right, now we're talking really tiny little levers.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but when you put it all together and you put the cockpit, you're like, wow, it's like
if you do the normal cockpit that comes in the kit, and then after that you would do the brass edge, modified cockpit, you see the both and the crispiness of the detail. Of course, if you suck like Chung, it won't work.
Yeah, it won't work,
but if you suck like, I should say, if you suck like me, because I'm the one that got raped this weekend.
That's all right. We always do that. We always tell each other we suck.
Yeah.
Just so we can do better.
Yeah.
So so they got the brass etching, rivets. Look at that. You could do a lot of types of different riveting with different techniques. Beads and the what you call it, the styrenes, sets and stuff. Using Tamiya super glue. Oh, by the way, that's the other thing. Tamiya super glue, super thin cement.
Yeah.
That's my favorite glue.
Yeah, me too.
That comes from scale modeling. I'll do a video on that. I actually have some stuff I filmed.
Hey, I almost use Tamiya shit.
Me too. I mean, unless it's not plastic.
Tamiya cement glue, cement whatever.
Yeah, because it's a really easy way to get rid of mold, like little thin ones.
Yeah, you put the glue in.
Yeah,
I like the one that's the gel one.
You have a gel?
Yeah.
You have a gel?
Yeah. I have Tamiya gel one.
Nice.
Contact gel glue.
Well, I'll get that video out. I'll show people how to do other things than actually glue with.
Next time I come to America, what I'll do is I'll shove that cement glue in my ass, because I don't think we can put it in your.
Oh, okay.
I'll shove it in my ass and smuggle some in.
Take one for the team, huh?
I'll take one for the team.
I can go to a hobby shop, see if they have it. Near my place. And what else? What else is there in the scale modeling? People should look for and learn and.
There's a lot, man. Diorama, but in the model, not in the modeling world, but in the wargaming world, a lot of people are actually extremely good at making dioramas and
pimps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah. Just display your models.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing. I guess it depends on the actual competition, but does making an actual base for your model pop?
In every fucking competition, right? They say that they don't count the bases, right?
But that's bullshit. We all
But
know
everybody know that, you know, if you don't make a base, your model is not gonna be like cha-ching.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. You know, in Golden Demon, they say the base don't count, but
yeah, last
they're
year I
putting
won
away-
because of that.
yeah,
Last year, okay, in my single miniature category, the judge said, yeah, your model was good, but, you know, there was other models that were better. But he's like, your model fit better the 40K universe, so that's why you won.
yeah,
Here you go, you had it now, so the base doesn't count, right?
right.
It's not the paint job that I had on my model that fit the you know, the 40K universe, because everybody was, you know, painted in chapter specific. So my base was carrying the 40K team
Yeah.
better than the other, so that's why I won.
Yeah, well, last year when we went to Golden Demon, they were putting aside like, so that had plain bases, nothing on
Yeah.
it. They were putting it aside.
Yeah, so
So there goes your theory about base don't count. And a lot of competitions say that, but honestly, they want you to at least put some kind of effort.
But it's
Put
because they
glue a
don't.
damn rock on your base.
I think it's because they don't want people to come in with like the fucking crazy huge ass like plin that, you know,
Yeah.
goes crazy. So they say it doesn't count, but if you do it in a way that it's a little bit more slick and,
That covers the whole composition of the
Yeah.
model, not just, you know.
but like the one that won at Gen Con was that little mage that had flowers with Dayglow like running around him. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
I
But
remember
he had
that.
a really sexy base.
Huh.
Although the two other ones that won didn't have nothing, but hey, I wouldn't have even. I didn't even look at these models. Like, what the fuck is that shit? That one.
So yeah, so I guess, you know, overall in summary is like learn the techniques from scale modeling. There's so many out there. All you do is just do a search.
Yeah, do some research on scale modeling. Go
Yeah.
check the channels. Mig Jimenez, if you want
Make
to.
Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Scale model Madman,
Man.
scale model Medic.
Yeah,
I guess if you want to go SM
but Mig
Consortium.
doesn't make videos. He makes only tutorials on
The blogs and stuff.
Yeah, but fuck, man, this shit is tight.
Look at scale model Addict. Yeah, tons. And you'll pick up a lot of cool techniques and stuff.
Yeah. One of the best techniques there is out there is to actually have sex just before you start working on your model, and then anything you want to do, you're just gonna succeed.
There you go. The secret to Hugo's expert painting.
Yeah.
Pro painting. Everything he does is pro painted because of the sex before.
Yeah.
All
If
right.
you don't have sex before, it's just gonna look like shit.
See what I have to deal with. This guy's crazy. Anyways, thank you for joining us on this community show. Sorry it's not live and it's short, but
And
I
there's an
figured-
airplane also flying
yeah,
everywhere.
there's an airplane flying everywhere because the airport's over there. But I figured out Hugo here, it'd be a really cool subject that we could do because he is a Mr. Scale model man.
Yeah.
The same background as I did.
Scale model man.
Bye.